Dazen is a very likable guy, but he's also got a slave that he's like having sex with. He's also got his
Yeah, but she's
brother
hot.
chained up. He's also got his brother chained up in the basement. I find him very likable, but he's kind of hard to like. Hey everyone, my name's Nick.
And I'm Ray, and today we're going to be talking about book 2 in the Lightbringer series, The Blinding Knife. And I think this book is fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
I also enjoyed this book. It was really fun. I texted you a couple of times. I had some issues when I was going through it. These sex scenes and the total intimacy, it's so much for me. I don't know what it is. I can't handle it.
You're a prude. It's fine. You're a prude.
I know. I really am. Like, and I listen to these on audiobooks, so I have it out loud just playing, and it starts getting to these scenes, and I'm like looking over my shoulder, seeing if my wife's listening. Like, I'm literally listening to porn right now.
She's like, Nick, what are you doing?
I know.
They're right
Exactly. So there were a few parts that made me uncomfortable, but it's okay. Overall, it was a really fun book. I enjoyed Kip's character development in this one. It was fantastic.
I would say, yeah, Kip's character development in this book and just the introduction of Andros Guile on a more large scale. He's a really fun character. Reminds me of Tywin Lannister.
Yeah, and on the same page of characters we like, I really enjoyed Tia as a character. I thought she was really good. I feel like she's what Liv should have been. I hate you mentioned it last review of the last book that everyone hates Liv, and I'm like, I don't understand why. I mean, yeah, she's not a main character, but she's fine. She sucks in this book, like a lot.
Yeah, she's terrible. Liv is just straight terrible, especially since she has to go up against people like Karis and Taya. Really, all the female characters I feel like in the series are all just better. All of them.
Yeah, I would agree. Because the thing with Liv, she just feels like a spoiled brat. She's like running and tattling on people. She like willingly is going to kill her friends at the end, which even in the last book, like Kip has always been just a nuisance to her in her description. So it's like she's just so unlikable. And then, like you said, you have her up against these other female characters who are really fun. Karis, Tia, they're awesome. Tia sold into slavery by her mother while her father was out working. Like, he comes back and all three of his daughters have been sold into slavery.
Yeah, that's
and then she's the one that's too expensive. It's like, geez, that's a rough life.
Yeah, she's got some backstory. I gotta say though, one of my favorite parts about this book is the introduction to all the Blackguard stuff. I thought it's really fun. They don't make him overpowered. I mean, sure, he beats that one guy right off the bat. I forget his name, but then everyone else kind of kicks his ass. Then he just breaks that dude's arm. Elam, I think his name is, just shatters his arm right off the bat. And you're like, okay, cool, hell yeah. And then the Thresher. What were your thoughts on that?
I thought it was going to be a little bit deeper on like why Dazen is like fudging his results, but it was really just as plain as I didn't want you to have special treatment. Like, oh, okay. But it kind of like, it feels like that would kind of mess with Kip's ability to draft the other colors, because it's like all about will, and if you don't think that you can do something, then you can't do something.
Yeah. And he's definitely he knows he can draft more colors than the Thresher bar he showed. You know?
Yeah, but you see it too, where he's trying to convince himself that like doing sub red, for instance, was just a fluke. I can't actually do that. That was an accident. It didn't act, it was just kind of there for no reason.
And I think that's more character development. It's meant for character development more than anything, because he does think very lowly of himself. And I think that, we see it with his inner monologue, like, I'm a fat turtle bear. I can't do this. I can't do that. When in reality, he can, and he needs to convince himself that he can.
Yeah, he has a great character arc, and I thought that the Blackguard stuff was really a great decision and really cool as well, because the first quarter of this book was a little boring to me. Before he gets kicked out of his classes, it was boring, because it was like we were sitting through classes and I'm like, just too dense of how the magic system works getting thrown at you. So it was great to stop just giving you these big giant long paragraphs of magic description and actually showing you how it works. So I thought that was a really fun way of doing it.
Yeah, it's Kip. God, he's got to be one of my favorite characters. Like ever written. That's just because he has such a great development. Like the whole way through all the books, you know, the way he starts off is just not overpowered, just completely underpowered, and finds his will, finds his strength, you know, and it's makes sense because he comes from a lineage. I mean, his dad, his grandpa, all of them were just built, you know, strong as shit. It makes sense that he would be too.
And I mean, you got to remember as well, he's a 15-year-old boy, so it's like most teenage boys they're growing into their bodies. This is the time where he's still thinking of himself in this child's body whenever he's growing into having a man's body. And you know, you even in some of the descriptions where he's described as fat, but then you know we get like more where he's actually kind of jacked underneath the fat too, talking about how massive his arms are.
He's not just fat, he's built.
Yeah, you know? He's like very he's very bulky. And I, you know, speaking of the Blackguards, I was kind of disappointed with how that final testing went. It was still cool, but it was a little bit less satisfying than if he would have just won the bout.
Yeah.
Right? If he would have just won that match and actually got placed 14th, I think that would have been so satisfying and so cool. And it still was a cool situation where it's like, I like out loud was like, oh, geez, you know, like where Cruxa just like literally shatters this dude's knee.
Yeah.
And he talks about how he did take money to keep him out. It was cool, but it felt a little less satisfying than if Kip would have beat him himself.
Yeah, it's definitely less satisfying, but it also shows a good light on how they all think in the Blackguards, right? They want Kip. Kip could make it. They know it. He just didn't because Aram, who is top 3, right? Easy, was throwing his matches. So Cruxer, instead of letting a snake in, was like, fuck that, right? Which like kind of highlights teamwork, trust, loyalty. And it's like a cool moment for Kip, I think, especially because it shows an acceptance that he hasn't really actually seen yet.
Yeah, that is true. I would have liked to see him win. But like like you said, it still is a good way of him joining the Blackguards. It is still cool. Like him, his buddy Cruxa, and then Tia, like all in it together. And then those 3 also kind of have like a special treatment because Cruxa's like he's like 3rd generation Blackguard. So he's already basically at the level that he needs to be, but he has to go through the training. Yeah. And then Tia is able to draft this special color Peril, which that's apparently like you can just give people strokes. Like, put a blood clot in them, give them heart attacks. Like, geez, okay.
It's sneaky. It's some sneaky shit.
So how many base colors are there? Like, what's the known color range? Is it 7 of them?
Yeah, 7.
And then the woman, what's the woman that makes those cards name? Do you remember her? You know names.
Giannis Borg.
Yeah, so she mentions that there's 11 colors, right? So, dang, there's a lot of colors we're missing out here.
Yeah,
so we have the normal 7, and then we have Peril, and then maybe another 3 in there somewhere.
We know Peril is there. What are the other colors? There's 3 more. I know what they are.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I had just, seen that and I was like, oh, okay. It's cool that he's putting that out there so it's not like we're just surprised with it out of nowhere. I liked that foreshadowing, and I think it's going to be cool to see those other 4 really come into use.
Well, you've already seen one of them drafted, White.
Oh, yeah, I guess so, huh? I had written that down too. I mean... Did I really see it drafted? I saw the reaction. At this point, I don't know what is special about White. I understand everyone thought it was impossible. And then whenever Iron Fist shows it to the White, she just breaks down into tears. So I understand that it is very significant and that it's thought to be impossible to create, but I don't know why it is at this point.
So we don't know 2 colors. So we know sub-red, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, super violet, Peril, and white. 2
and I'm assuming there's going to be a black as well, right? Because you have the black prism and then the white as his opposite. So I don't know. That would be my assumption. One thing I wanted to ask you, because maybe I missed it, I wasn't sure. What was up with this weird point of view reading? where we randomly, there's like 3 or 4 chapters where it's like first person past tense. It happens with Gunner, I think twice. It happens with these assassins in the shimmer cloaks, and then it happens with Andros Guile at the end. And it seemed significant, but I don't think I ever noticed if it was who was remembering it.
I'll be honest.
You don't remember?
No, nothing stuck out to me like that like was jarring for me, so I didn't really take note of it.
Gotcha. And maybe it's because, right, I'm listening to it, so whenever the tone change, it's like a really noticeable tone change where it just randomly changes to like somebody recalling a memory to you. It was weird. But okay, I just didn't see if that was like ever explained or what was going on. But it's all right. I just wanted to know if you knew why or if that was significant, because it felt significant because it randomly happened 4 times, but I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know.
Okay, whatever. Dazen killing his bro Gavin, huh? In the prison cell. I know he's not dead, but
Who's not dead?
I know the prisoner. I know he's not dead. I'm pretty sure he's not dead.
He got his head blown off. What are you talking about?
It's true. But Brent Weeks, when he's writing this, made it very obvious that he's like talking about Gavin looking into the corner and seemingly talking to nobody. What is going on there?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think at the end in the last battle, he had said that oranges can draft illusions. So I didn't know if that would go further where it's like, oh, Gavin is actually in the corner drafting an illusion, and you would have never thought that he was, so Dazen didn't check. Or even stupider, my initial thought was like just even stupider. Oh, he's actually got a 3rd shimmer cloak there, just randomly.
Yeah. So that's an incredibly important moment, obviously. Mm-hmm. Also, I just want to fucking point out, funny as shit, how it happens.
It was pretty funny.
Throws the bitch off the balcony, dude. Just throws her off, and he's like, ah. Yeah. The black guards are like, He's like, you go tell on me, I'll be here. Obviously, dipsets, and then the guards just fucking lying for him, man. Just like, yeah, no, she jumped, dude. I don't know.
So they were actually lying though, because it was. To me, I mean, maybe it was kind of obvious, but to me, it was kind of wishy-washy. I was like, were they lying, or is Dazen just think that he's more responsible than he really is?
Yeah, I picture them as lying because, I mean, a big deal was made for them to be infatuated with him. I mean, one of them's named after him, right? Mm-hmm. Not only that, he played nice with them, right off the bat. Like, hey, what's up, guys? What's up, bros? And they're like, you're the prism, dude.
That's true.
She jumped. We don't want to lose you.
That's true. And I don't think the white would have let him be lost after her realizing that he drafted White Luxon, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I can't imagine that ever happened, but okay, cool. Glad that makes sense what you're saying. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. He actually did just kill her in a fit of rage.
It seems like something he would do.
Yeah, kind of.
It does.
I mean,
he's a good person-ish for the most part.
And that's another reason too. It feels like Brent Weeks is really trying to make you struggle to like Dazen, because it's like Dazen is a very likable guy, but he's also got a slave that he's like having sex with. He's also got his brother chained up. He's also got his brother chained up in the basement. I find him very likable, but he's kind of hard to like.
He's a super cool dude, but he kind of sucks. He's like that cool dude. You're like, what's up, bro? And he just sucks, kind of, but he's cool. That's him, straight up.
Yeah, that's true. I like, and it was cool. I had picked up on Andros Guile being a red white kind of early in this book.
Yeah.
And I called you and I was gonna talk about it with you, but I was like, okay, I need to wait. Let me see if they actually reveal it in this book. Mm-hmm. And they did, and then so now he's no longer a red white because of that blinder's knife.
Yep.
But it didn't take away his drafting.
Yep.
So if you get stabbed with it, your stuff's gone. But if you get touched with it, it just takes away your halo.
Or maybe it was meant to cleanse the halos originally. And people forgot about that, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
You break your halo and they just Do a little stab.
You
and
would,
come back.
if that's the case, it must be for both, right? It must be a punishment and also to help.
Yep.
Because there's no way you make a knife to just take away halos, right? If that was all you were wanting to do, you'd make a butter knife or a spoon and then touch them with it. Like not something that is so obviously meant to stab somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was really cool. And then at the end, comes out, I was wrong. I thought Kip, it was going to be revealed Kip's Karis's son, but I mean, a little too obvious, I get. So Zyman is actually her son. They're half brothers, and then now Kip's captured and being brought back to Andros. I mean, hey, he's got one more card game to play for his life, right? Yeah. So he's going to play one last time.
Yeah. That was also one of my favorite just little additions was the card game. His really... training for it, going to the library, meeting who? Who did he meet? What's her name?
I don't remember.
Ria Solis or something?
Sure. I don't know. I'm not good with names like you are. I don't.
I'm just saying, just remember her name.
Yeah, I know the Commander Iron Fist did ask after her, like, who told you about this mirror? Is that what she is?
No, that one. Oh, yeah, the mirror.
Yeah.
Yanis Board.
Yeah, because the librarian told Kip about the mirror, and literally, apparently everybody's been looking for her because she's really important and everyone wants her cards, so. Yeah. Okay. So she's important too, got it.
Anyway, that's all I'm going to say on that one.
Okay.
On her. For now, just remember her name.
If it mentions like, hey, you're that librarian, then I'll remember. Yeah. But if it just says her name, nah, I'm not. If you just mention a name that I've seen once, nah, I'm not gonna remember it. Even if it's good foreshadowing, I don't have that mind of a steel trap, Even people I meet in real life, they tell me their name and it literally does not register with me. It's pretty bad.
But yeah, so no, I loved seeing the Chromaria, getting a explanation on the magic system, a little too classy at times. But then the practicality portion of it, the Blackguard arc was probably my favorite in that book. Along with the Andros, Guile, and Kip. Every time they're together, I enjoy it for the most part. The only real fault I have with this book, I hate Liv. I don't want to read it. I don't want to read her.
I totally agree with that. I already spoke about it. She's terrible. I'm now with. Apparently, this is not a hot take. I hate her with. I hate her along with everybody else.
Yep.
I'm jumping in that bandwagon. So
yeah. I can't wait for the end of the next book for you. Because that's when she gets
worse.
Well, no, just so I can go into more details on some stuff.
Gotcha.
Next book's pretty heavy and stuff.
I'm excited for the next book because there's a lot that I'm just like looking forward to. We got the explanation of what these Banes are. They kept talking about Banes, and so it's cool to see that you can actually be, do they really become a god? Not really, but they get like the essence of that color, so they just kind of feel everything, so they become very OP. So that's cool seeing that, and then I'm sure there's going to be more of them, and like eventually I would hope that one of the gods actually survives kind of a long time so that we can see some cool stuff going on with that. Andros Guile going from being a red-white back to not now. And when he was playing, or he was like corresponding with the colors prince to try to become the red god, and then like Kip going back to him, Gavin getting stabbed, he's no longer a drafter anymore, and he got captured by Gunner, even like Tia trying to see the peril stuff. I'm excited for it. Cool.
I'm a fan of Gunner too. I forgot to say. I want to say I like Gunner. Yeah, I like his scenes. So overall, you like the book?
Overall, I did like the book.
You like the way the story's headed?
I do. It makes me uncomfortable at times, but I can push through it, and it's okay. It's just me. But yes, overall, I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really fun, and it's better than the first one.
I agree. Let us know in the comments below what your take on book 2 is. Give us a hot take. Hating Liv's not one. We need a hot take. Give us one. With that, Ray, out.
Thanks for watching. Hey, Nick here. If you enjoyed this video, please gently caress that like button for us.
And Ray, thanks for watching. It was a blast. Make sure to hit that subscribe if you want to stay up to date with what we're doing, what me and him are doing. there. Me and him, Nick and Ray. Subscribe.